Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. It's match build-up time as Liverpool take on Plymouth Argyle in the third round of the FA Cup. So as we all know by now, Liverpool are going to make a lot of changes for this game. Jurgen Klopp said it in his press conference today, and with the games coming up in the League Cup semi-final against Southampton and obviously the huge league game next Sunday against Manchester United at Old Trafford, it makes sense for the side to be rotated for this fixture, given that I think at the moment the FA Cup is the third priority for Liverpool. The league is obviously first priority, as we all know, because Liverpool are performing so well and are in the title race for the first time since the 13-14 season. And the League Cup, we're now at the stage where there's a reason to take the tournament seriously because we've been doing well in it so far. There are only 3 other teams left in it, and therefore we have a good chance of winning a trophy there. So, like I said, there are going to be a lot of changes. We found out today that it's pretty much certain that Loris Karius is going to be in goal for Liverpool. With the knock to James Milner last time out against Sunderland, I think we are going to see Alberto Moreno. I wouldn't be surprised for Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. I think Nathaniel Clyne needs a rest, and because Liverpool don't have that much cover at fullback, it makes sense to rest our fullbacks whenever we can and bring in the youngsters. And Trent Alexander-Arnold has shown in the past that he is a very capable player and a very capable right back. In defence, there's a little more uncertainty as to who's going to play. I think Lucas definitely will. We've seen him play centre-back in a lot of the cup games before this season. But the question now is who partners him. Because if Matip was fit, and it was Matip and Lovren in the league, I think we'd go back to the cup combination of Lucas and Klavan. But with Matip not fit for this game and probably not going to be fit for the game against Southampton, I think the target for him, it's been said, is the Man U game. It's coming down to which defender do we want to rest and which one do we want to play in this game, because one of Lovren or Klavan will probably have to play. I want to see Joe Gomez because obviously he's been out for so long and we all know that he is a good player and he is back from injury now. But I think it's not the kind of thing that Jurgen Klopp would do to just throw him straight in. I think he'd do something similar to what he did with John Flanagan, where he'd give him a half of football. So I reckon we'll either see Lovren or Klavan start, and then some early in the second half, I think we'll hopefully see Joe Gomez come on. Into the midfield, Kevin Stewart is another obvious one, and also Ovie Ejaria. Emre Can, I think, is a player that we could see in midfield because he's been a little bit hot and cold recently. He's had good performances, but then he's also had the performance against Sunderland where he struggled to adapt to the number 6 role which he had to adopt from Henderson. So I think we could see him, just if Jurgen Klopp feels like he needs to do a little bit more to prove himself this season. We could also see Marko Grujic as well, who hasn't played for a while. I think he might be injured at the moment, but he might be back because he hasn't really been in and around the first team. We don't know. I think it'll be 3 of those 4, potentially not Grujic if he is still injured. Moving on to the forwards, I don't think we'll see Roberto Firmino because as much as I would like to see him in the 9, where he hasn't really played as much recently, his only real game in the 9 in the last few months was against Manchester City. I think we're probably more likely to see Divock Origi because given the opponents, they're from League 2, they're probably going to go for quite a physical style, especially because they're going to want to be defending a lot, they're going to pack the box. We need someone who's got power and who's got height as well and heading ability, and Divock Origi has all of that for Liverpool. Ben Woodburn, I think we'll probably see him off the bench. Jurgen Klopp doesn't seem to like starting Woodburn yet because obviously he is a young player, and as a striker it's a very high pressure position to put someone in without giving them assurances like, say, if Liverpool are 3-0 up, it's then okay to take Woodburn on because there's not really much pressure on him. It's more just to give him an experience rather than to actually try and get him to influence the game. Coutinho, I'm not sure about. I think I do want to see him at some point in these next 2 games because we obviously want him to be match sharp for the game against Manchester United. He was back in full training today, so in theory he could be in contention for this game. I think if Klopp wants to play him against Southampton, Coutinho has to play some role in this game just to help get his match sharpness back up because he has been out for quite a while and a little bit longer than we expected. So, like I said, it's safe to say that the FA Cup isn't a massive priority at the moment this season, and I think even if Liverpool progress from this round and were to draw a big team in the 4th round, like say Arsenal or Chelsea or Tottenham or so forth, I still don't feel like we'd play a particularly strong team, especially given that the weekend of the 4th round is right before our midweek game against Chelsea. So we're probably going to see something similar to the last season where, again, the FA Cup was the 3rd priority for Liverpool. So, while it isn't a massive priority for Liverpool, I think it's still a game we should win. At the end of the day, we're at Anfield and it's against League Two opposition. So, here's my 3 reasons why we will beat Plymouth Argyle. First of all, this is a big game for these young players, and I feel like they might even show more desire to win this than the first teamers would, because not only are the first teamers tired, but for the young players, they need to get Liverpool to progress in the FA Cup to secure more playing time for the rest of the season, because once the League Cup is over in February, should Liverpool progress to the final, if Liverpool don't go through the FA Cup rounds, then those last 3 months of the season, March, April and May, will have nothing but Premier League games in them, and I don't think many players who are on the fringes of the squad will get a look in should Liverpool keep up their title challenge. So I think they will be up for this one, which is important because obviously it's a massive cliche, but Plymouth Argyle will be up for this one, and I think they're probably going to try and force a replay because a win at Anfield is quite unlikely, and a replay obviously gives them a big cash payout and gives them home advantage in the second leg. That brings me on to my second reason, which is that Liverpool will have home advantage in this game. And I know it is Plymouth Argyle, and really we shouldn't need too many reasons as to why we should beat them. But if Liverpool were away in this game, then I think we'd all be slightly more concerned because, as we found out last season when we played against Exeter, the result away was very different to the result at home. And that often comes down to the old cliches like the quality of the pitch, things like the weather, and also the crowd, because the crowd really get behind teams if they know that their teams are the underdogs in an FA Cup tie. And then finally, you've got that Liverpool will still have pride to preserve, because no matter what the competition, no matter what the opposition, and no matter what side you put out, it is still important to win, and it is still crushing disappointment to lose. As we found out last season when Liverpool's second string team nearly went the distance against West Ham but got knocked out right at the end. It didn't really matter what players were on the pitch or what tournament it was, the defeat still hurt. So it's important that Liverpool still get the win no matter what the competition or the opposition on Sunday afternoon. So that's all for today's video. Here's hoping that Liverpool can get the win on Sunday and progress into the 4th round of the FA Cup without incident. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and follow at LFC Focus TV on Twitter. Bye for now.